morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ines Kaps, and I'm very, very excited to go through some innovation and conflict management topics today. Um, what is my background? My background, I've been a project manager for more than 25 years. I have created 5 companies over this period of time, and I have really defined and designed together with incredible teams new ways in how to apply an existing solution or how to solve a problem, or also how to create a new offering in the service industry. So innovation management is something that, started even when I was studying in Austria. I was studying innovation management, and I've also done an executive MBA within an incredible company. And the thesis on this MBA was about commercialization of patents. So actually having a company with a lot of patents, and how can they actually use their patents in order to generate revenue for their business. So innovation management and different aspects of innovation management was also always part of my professional life. So what I would like to give you today is an overview of what type of conflicts do we usually face. What are the root causes, and how can you use these conflicts and these root causes to really identify some new ways of thinking, new ways of applying existing solutions, or maybe finding new solutions, new ideas to existing problems. Because when you think about innovation management, innovation is not only something extremely new, some groundbreaking R&D. Innovation is newness, something new. And this can be using something existing to a new application, to a new process, to a new way of applying, or also a new market. It could also be an existing problem where you say, okay, maybe there is a different aspect on it. It also can be completely new R&D, but it's not only about completely groundbreaking. It's the application, something new, that is also innovation management. And I would like to, let's say, break the ground to really say, you probably have way more innovation and innovation management within your organization, within your team, that you're not aware of it, because it's something that you do naturally. It's brainstorming, it's creativity. That's also part of this type of innovation. So it's really saying, actually, we have diversity of thoughts, we have experiences, and we use these different type of experiences, thoughts and impressions, ideas, creativity, to solve something in our organization, in our project, in our company. So what typical conflicts do we face, in particular in projects? There can be, let's say, in roughly three type of conflicts, and that is related to a task, related to a process, or related to a relationship. So there can be a conflict when you say, well, actually, I would like to do a task differently. And as an example, I was in managing a software implementation of a new IT software in a pharmaceutical company, and the headquarter in Japan wanted to implement a specific activity in one way, and the European headquarter wanted to run it in a different way, because of different legal requirements and different compliance interpretation. So even though it was the same process. It was the same quality process. They really wanted to do something, the task differently. And we had to discuss quite a long time to really align the reasons why the difference was necessary, and build a business case why it would make sense to not harmonize the different activities within this system, but to really have two different types of activities in the system. So one for the headquarter, or for also the US, and one set of activities within Europe. This second conflict was about the processes. So when you actually have different types of processes, and this can be, as an example, in master data management. So in a different company, there was an engineering department that was responsible for creating master data, creating core engineering and engine data. And by implementing a new system, the creation of this data would have moved from one system to the other, and the process would have been also differently. The responsibility, not so much, but the process was different. And there was also a lot of change resistance and a lot of discussions that were necessary to really align the new way of thinking and agree on how to manage master data in a different way, and why this new way of master data management would benefit not only for this one department, but why it would be beneficial for the whole company. So sometimes you really have those differences in understanding, and also differences in approaches or power struggles, where you say, well, actually, yes, one department may lose a little bit of power, but it is for the good of the whole company. And the third conflict is, and I think that is something that is relatively obvious or also difficult to handle, is when it comes to relationships, when people do not get along with each other, or when they have different interests, different impacts on the project. I think the relationship piece within a project, also within a company, is something that is really very emotionally draining when you have a lot of relationship related conflicts. So what are usually the root causes of these type of conflicts? Miscommunication is something that happens a lot. And when you think about miscommunication, and it's not only me, but when you say about successful communication, is when I'm the sender and you, as the receiver of this information, understand what I'm saying. And successful would be that you understand what I'm saying in the same way that I intended you to deliver this information. If you understand something completely different, my communication is not successful. So it's not about how or what I say, but it's actually how you receive this information. So I need to make my pieces of information clear to you. And only if I'm clear to you, this is a successful communication. And a lot of times it is, let's say, the missing understanding that it's always about me. It's always about me, the sender. I'm saying, talking, but I never understand or think about you, the receiver. So, and understanding the concept of communication, that it's not about me as a sender, but it's also always about the receiver of this information. This really causes a lot of communication. And it could also be that miscommunication is based on the language. I'm not native English, so maybe you say, well, I have no clue what she's talking about because she's using different vocabulary, and my pronunciation is completely off. So this can be a type of miscommunication, but it could also be that I'm in a context and I assume that you know everything about communication. And if I assume this, you may say, well, I have no clue what she's talking about. So miscommunication is something that happens a lot. And what you also can take, and I hope that you can take away from this, is you cannot communicate too much. That's just not possible. Because even if you're not communicating, you're communicating. You're communicating that something is not important to you. So communication is something that is utterly important, not only to projects, but generally to all human interactions. So the second piece of root causes is about competing priorities. So you have a project, and usually there are stakeholders, they have interest in the projects and they really want to be successful. So the sponsor of the project may have the idea that the project will be delivered in time, in budget, to really focus on the cost-cutting side of the implementation. And you have other businesses, as an example, you have sales and marketing who are responsible about generating additional revenue. So let's say IT is about reducing the costs and being more and more efficient, and sales and business development, they are about generating more revenue. So you have those two very strong business forces increasing revenue or cutting costs that will have an effect on the bottom line. And how you increase the bottom line is there are two different ways, and in how and these are different priorities. So, and these obviously clash, because if someone in business development wants to have more access to customer data, or want to add services to the customer, this will increase the costs and is not about cost cutting. So these two different competing priorities are also something that cause a lot of conflict. You will find out those different priorities if you do a very detailed stakeholder analysis and a stakeholder profiling. What do I mean by that? Stakeholder analysis is really the understanding of who are your stakeholders in the setup of the project. What are they doing? What are their interests, and what is their influence on the project? And stakeholder profiling gets a couple of levels deeper. It's really to understand the individual's stakeholder, and understand what are their priorities, what are their career goals, when do they actually get the bonus. So if a salesperson only gets the bonus if they create more sales, this salesperson will not really be an advocate on a cost-cutting project. So I think this understanding where are your stakeholders really helps you to understand and identify those different competing priorities. Obviously, the third element, resource limitations. If you don't have enough resources, and if people need to do the project on top of their normal job, or on top, then there will be conflicts. We also have personal clashes, and you will see this in any organization, whether it's a professional organization, it's maybe a association where you work in in your free time. Personal clashes are just natural because we are different human beings. And these different types of personalities and also the different types of interests and values can cause a lot of conflicts in the collaboration of people. I think in particular understanding the background and understanding the values of those people who are clashing is something that is absolutely essential to then resolve the conflicts if they can be resolved. Role ambiguity means that it's not really clear who is doing what in, as an example, in a project. So if a person has the task or the area of data migration, as an example, in a big project, and they are not reaching out to the people who have the data that needs to be migrated, and nothing is happening because they don't understand their role, this will cause quite a lot of conflicts in the project as well. Change resistance, I think I've talked beforehand, that if there is a new process, a new way of working together, usually you do have a lot of change resistance. And understanding where does this change resistance come from and why are people resisting to this new way of working really helps you to understand the root cause, understand where this is coming from, but you will also understand what is important to these people and what is the fear they have. And maybe this will also lead into some new discussions and adaptations of the solution that you're implementing. And power imbalance is something where you say, well, actually, I have a huge stakeholder map. You have identified people who are really important to your project, who have the urgency, the power to really have an impact. And maybe there are some very powerful people in your project who are supporting your project, but maybe you also have very powerful people outside of your project who are not in favor. And these power imbalances really can cause quite a lot of disturbance in your project as well. So this really showcases the need of a very thorough stakeholder assessment, stakeholder analysis, profiling, and a lot of really strong stakeholder management. Because when you really understand your stakeholders and know how to deal with them, you can manage with communication, with priorities, with personal clashes, with change resistance, with power imbalances. So how can we actually use all these conflicts in really moving something forward, moving a project forward, moving some new ideas forward, and really use these conflicts for innovation management and for transformation? When you think about conflicts, there is usually a lot of energy in these conflicts. People have emotions. People have, are touched by something. And I think this is something that you can really value and leverage and to really see, well, if there is so much energy in this conflict, how can you actually stir this energy into a direction that is beneficial for the project and for the company, and maybe to really for some innovations. And from my experience, one of the really key elements is to establish trust and respect amongst the participants of these conflicts. Trust is something that takes time, and it is also, it relates a lot about how you communicate with those different stakeholders, how you interact with them, how you deal with them, and how they then trust you that you're not harming them and you're actually trying to support them in order to move forward. So building trust and not only showing respect or showing respect to these participants, but also demanding respect from those participants, not only towards yourself, but also towards the others in a conversation, is something that you as a leader, as a project leader, as a leader in general, need to do. It's respect is not one way, and I think it is something that we can expect and we can demand from people to show respect. These are the ground rules that you set in order to, distill the information power of your conflicts. The second step is to address the elephant in the room. In a lot of cases, the conflicts are somewhere under the curtain, not under the curtain, but under, you know what I mean? So it's basically addressing the conflicts and, yeah, in a respectful way, address them and really try to involve the people in this conflict and involve them in order to find a solution. And I think what I've experienced in a lot of my projects is that people are actually really relieved when you address a conflict and when you address an issue. And a conflict does not have to be something dramatic or very negative. It can, as I said, it can be a misunderstanding. So addressing the thing that where you say, well, are we on the same page? Do I understand this correctly? I have the impression we are not talking about the same topic. I think we're talking about two different routes. Can we address this miscommunication, or can we address this question mark, or can we address the topic in a direct and respectful way? And once it's on the table, I think it's then your energy to not only demand the respect from people, but also to pull people towards a solution. What do I mean by that? When you have a conflict, there is a lot of emotion and there is also a lot of energy, and you as a leader also need to invest a lot of energy to really create a solution, because it's very easy for us people to list everything that we don't like. So when you say, I don't like red, or I don't like salad, or I don't like to work long hours, I don't like the system, I don't want to click 20 times. It's extremely easy for us to list everything what we don't like. Ask people what they don't like about a solution, they will give you everything. Asking them in a different way, so what do you like and what do you want? Not so easy. So they will be very fast in telling you everything that they don't like, but it will take them a lot longer to list everything they like about it and everything they really want. Because I would say we are trained to all the negative, and we're not trained to understand or focus on the positive of on the opportunities, on the possibilities we have. And I deliberately say, forcing people to tell you what they want and not what they don't want, what they want and what they like, and really forcing them to think about solutions is essential and takes energy, takes energy from you as the workshop leader, as the project leader, as the leader. That really takes time to move people from the negative, I don't want, to something, I want X, Y, and Z. Because as a very simple example, when I say I don't want to work long hours, what does this mean? It can mean I don't want to work 60 hours, or I don't want to work 100 hours per week. But what do I want? I only want to work short hours, an hour is 60 minutes. It's the long hour and the short hour is always 60 minutes. So just because I say I don't want to work long hours does not mean that I want to work short hours is the opposite. So I really need to be specific. I only want to work 30 hours a week or 40 hours a week, or maybe it's the flexibility. I would like to be flexible in saying one week I work 60 hours and next week I work 30 hours or whatever. But it's easy to say I don't want to work long hours, but it's very more difficult to really understand and clarify. So what do you want? And in stirring these discussions and putting energy into these conversations to really understand, well, what do you want and how can we actually collaborate and find a solution. These are the conversations that, where you distill the innovations, where you distill the new ideas, where you distill the collaboration of people, where you benefit and leverage diversity. That's whether it's diversity of thoughts, of gender, of experiences, of different departments working together. That's what you distill, and that's the energy. And it takes time, it takes energy from you, and it takes trust and respect. And these really great conversations lead to creativity, lead to innovation. That's where you really, really want to work on. And if you can leverage these situations, and I think if you can have more if you can showcase these situations in a couple of situations, that is where you then also build your reputation as someone who is leading innovation, and who is leading the new way of collaboration in your project department or in your company. What you also need to take into consideration, if you have these conflicts and you have all these discussions, and it's still not moving forward, or it's still not getting into a solution, you need to escalate. So you cannot, let's say, have these discussions forever and forever and forever and forever, because as a project manager, you need to deliver on the business benefits and the business value. And in order to achieve your return on investment for your project, there is a time bound and there is a certain set of budget that you have. So there is a need for you to, at some point in time, to say, okay, we cannot solve this problem. We don't find a solution. We need to escalate, and we need to get top management into this situation and help us solve the problem on a different level. So, what are the outcomes of these conversations, of these conflicts? If you solve a conflict, what I've really tried to explain and showcase is that you actually have enhanced solutions, you have new ideas, you have enhanced innovation. And once you have these conversations solved, or you have these conversations, you also bring different people from different departments together, and they suddenly start talking to each other. So you're tearing down silos. You really showcasing and enhancing collaboration. And that really builds a strong team and a strong team dynamics. And obviously, if you have a lot of really great people in the room who have different thoughts and different aspects, you do have a better decision making, because you have, let's say, not only a 360 view, but you have all the information relevant for you to take a decision. And for all the projects, you will definitely have an improved project process. So that's a hard jump now from innovation management and innovation management in projects. What I would like to at least tease a little bit is the Project Success Accelerator. I'm running a project excellence coaching where we discuss these type of things, and we have these conversations on how can I actually solve a conflict, how do I find the different stakeholders that help me run the project, how do I prevent miscommunications, what do I do if I'm in a power struggle. So all these root causes that I've discussed previously are questions that we discuss and we work on in my Project Success Accelerator. And it consists of 3 things. It consists of a weekly power hour, and that means once a week you can join a coaching call, a Q&A, where you have your project-related questions, where you ask them and we work on them, and we find in 90% of the cases, we find a solution already in this hour, or at least the day after. We have monthly deep dives. That means that we have 2-hour workshops where we discuss one topic in detail. As an example, in the last deep dive, we discussed dependency planning, safe dependency planning, and how I can actually create a workshop, a dependency planning workshop online. What are the templates, the tools that I need? How do I actually moderate such a dependency planning workshop? And then there are 9 self-paced learning, leading and learning modules on how to manage stakeholders, how to create a communication matrix, how to do change management. So these topics are involved in these modules. The aim of this Project Success Accelerator is to really help you build your confidence and build your competence in a safe space, and build the confidence and competence before you need it. So we also do role plays. So as an example, when you have a difficult conversation ahead of you, you can try this conversation in a safe space, and you will build your routine in having these difficult conversations, and you also have the support and the feedback from the people in this online community. And the idea and the goal and the vision is that you really can lead any situation and manage every stakeholder in a very successful way. I'm very lucky to have really great women in this Project Accelerator. I have 4 testimonials from Beatrice, Fabienne, Soraya, and Emanuela. If you want to watch their videos, because they are also all video-based, go to passionforprojects.com, and there you can really see what they are saying. It's what you read here is, let's say, the key sentences, but I think if you want to watch the videos, it's very for me, it was very touching. It was very motivating to really see what they thought of the program and how they benefited from it. And if you say, well, actually, that's interesting for me, and I would like to know more about it. Yes, there is, on the one hand, there is a lot of information on the website, but I think the easiest way is really to book a discovery call with, and I can not only share the details and the reason of this program with you, but also to understand, is it actually the best program for you or not? Because what I've also found out in some of the conversations, in some of the discovery calls, that the people who wanted to join, where I said, well, actually, it's maybe better for you to have a dedicated negotiation training in order to move forward if you want to become or head towards a board role. So this program is really for project managers, project leaders, or people who work in projects who want to enhance and develop their project management, their project leadership skills. It will definitely have a positive impact on your career, but this is not a project for you to move towards a board role or a managing director role. So that's not a purpose for career management. I hope this was interesting to you. Book a call if you want to have more information, and I will definitely see you in the next couple of days, because I'm really excited in doing these LinkedIn Lives on a regular basis. One last thing, if you have one question or a topic that I should be tackling in one of these LinkedIn Lives, drop me a line and I will take them on. Take care.